heavier wines. So start off with a champagne, then move to another white. You don't want to drink too much, obviously, but you want to pair everything perfectly. Then you move to a lighter red and then a heavy red. And then you can move to like a sweet wine for dessert if you want. So that's typically, usually you want the palate to stay refreshed. And when you drink those really heavy red wines first, the palate and even your nose, the aroma, you'll get overwhelmed over time and you'll start losing the sensation. So start with something that's not as big and bold, something light and refreshing, and then move to the bolder later.
Light and refreshing, then to bold. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, it's just going up the spectrum, basically.
Earlier, you mentioned your certification.
Yeah.
How long is it WSET? That's what I wrote down anyway. How long does certification take?
It's actually,
and is it available online or you have to go in for?
So I think they're doing it. I think they are doing classes online now. I still get their emails. I haven't been paying too close of attention, but I think they're doing it online. The first certification and the second certification are both basically a weekend. So they'll send you materials in advance and you're supposed to read through the materials and whatnot. I was lucky enough to have been introduced to wine a while back, and I had read a lot, so I didn't really didn't study as much as I should have probably. But that said, if you're doing it, you're going to have to, if you haven't read about wine, you're going to have to learn the basics, right? And teach yourself. And then you go in there and there are 2 days of them giving you presentations and talking about the wines and actually tasting the wines too. So that it's not super expensive. It's under $1,000 for both courses. And then, you go through them and then you take a test at the end and you either get certified. There are different levels of certification. You either get certified or you don't, if you don't pass. Allie actually did it.
Okay. So not as brutal as what I may have seen online or, in any reality show, right?
You've probably seen the Somm series.
Yes.
That's insane. So those guys are master. So the sommelier track is a little bit different. So the intro to sommelier track, the intro is pretty easy. Then you're certified, and then you're an advanced. Advanced is pretty difficult. And then master there are only 250 or something master sommeliers in the entire world.
Oh, wow.
That exam, you need to pass a service portion, a theory portion, which is basically like you have to memorize everything about wine. all the regional wine laws. You have to know how to, like, these different words in different languages. And then there's a tasting portion, and the tasting is a blind tasting. They give you 3 reds and 3 whites, and you have to guess, basically. Well, not guess, like it's an educated guess, obviously, but you have to taste the wines and tell them, okay, this is, a Riesling from Australia, a 2007, and it's this producer. So the closer you can get, obviously, to the right answer, the better. And these guys can actually do that. It's crazy.
Not to insult anyone, sounds kind of like media planning. No, I'm sorry.
Actually, so Allie is also a WSET level 2. And I believe she is going for her level 3, which is a lot more intense. It's 4 weekends, I believe, in a row. And there is a tasting portion of that as well. You don't have to guess at the wine, but you have to explain the wine. You have to say, this is really acidic, or this is tannic, or whatever. You just have to tell them about the wine that you're tasting. Am I right on that, Allie?
So yes, yes and no. So there's actually 2 tracks. So that they have the fast track, which is the 4 weekends you're referring to, but you can also do the course over like 3 months and just have a class weekly. Okay. And yes, as opposed to level 3, where a lot of the questions are like multiple choice and things like that, you have a lot of written questions, and they're very hard because I know, because I took the test already once and failed, so I'm going in to retake it. But yeah, and actually, Alex, I don't know if you know, Alessandra from Wine Academy, she's doing her Master of Wine certification. So if she passes, she'll be one of the few in the world, which is kind of cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also really intense.
Yeah.
That's something that WSET offers, right? The Masters in Wine.
So no, it's actually a completely different entity.
Oh, I didn't.
But I'm not sure how she's doing it because she's a WSET educator. But
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued to see how it goes.
Yeah, speak to her about it. So WSET guys, they have locations all over the country. It was founded in London, and they basically have they certify people here, like all over the world, but here in the United States, to be able to teach their curriculum. And then what happens is when you take the test, they send the test back to London to get graded and then certified and sent back. All right, who else wants to talk about the wine or ask questions?
So I have a question, and I'll just ask what I think is on everybody's mind, or what I assume is on everybody. I know it's on at least one other person's mind because I've been texting with somebody that's on this happy hour currently, and that question is why is it champagne and bubbles get you more fucked up drinking than other things? I'm just calling it like it is, guys. Cheers.
Cheers, Adam. Thank you.
Adam, I love you.
Is it the sugar? Is it the sugar content?
The bubbles, like.
No, I don't think there's a scientific answer for it yet. I've read different things, but no one has. Every time you read something about it, they say, but it's really not like scientifically proven. So I don't know. I think part of it is the carbonation. You know, it might actually get through your bloodstream. The alcohol might get through your bloodstream faster for some reason, or the sugar. I just don't know. I don't know, and I think that I'm just gonna cheers to that fact and say, you know what, it doesn't matter. Let's enjoy it. So cheers to champagne.
Here.
Just to add to Alex's point, I've also researched the answer, and there's really no actual explanation as to why. A lot of people though like to blame the hangovers and everything on wine based on the sulfites, which Alex, I don't know if you want to tell them a little bit about the sulfites, but
go ahead.
From a marketing perspective, a lot of producers now put on the bottle that they have no sulfites, but that's actually not entirely true because sulfites are naturally occurring. But Alex, take it away.
No. Sulfites are actually a preservative, and they put them in wine. So like there's a whole organic and natural wine movement to not use sulfites, as Ali was mentioning. But some people say that the sulfites cause the hangovers. Some people say that the tannins cause the hangovers. And I just, there's no real scientific proof in anything yet. So, but yeah, sulfites are just a preservative basically.
Is there any truth to organic wines being less tasty?
I personally don't think so. Obviously, as I said before, I think your personal preference will tell you, but I think there's some really, really great organic wines out there. And the natural wine movement is another thing that's super trendy, and biodynamic wine also super trendy. And there's some good natural wines and some good biodynamic wines and some bad ones. I think there's a lot of hype behind that stuff. But that said, there are some really, really good natural wines being produced as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I think just go out and explore. I think natural wines are really interesting because if you don't know what natural wine is, it's basically a non-intervention policy, right? So winemaking, humans intervene in the process a lot and add different things like sulfites, as Ali was mentioning, and we use oak to age it. That adds a dimension to it. There's other chemicals, there's fining and filtration, right? So when the wine is, before it gets bottled, some producers will put egg yolk in it. So that's why, and sorry, not egg yolk, egg whites. And that's what'll filter the actual sediment out of the wine. So some winemakers are like, we're vegan. That just means they don't use egg whites to filter the wine, right? Like, but yeah, the natural wine movement is big. It's huge. It's here to stay. I just think you just got to kind of taste your way through them because some can be really bad and some can go bad really fast because they don't have any preservatives in them. we have any questions in the chat? Let's see. No. I like that everyone's active here.
All right, you may want to go back after this and just read through the entire chat.
I'm sure I will.
You have the flute gang versus non-flute gang battle going on. You had like the Midwest is probably not getting asked back to anything ever again, and then like it's good stuff, Alex.
I didn't have a. And then Paul said that Midwest was flute gang, so I had to go grab one.
Yeah, get you a fancy flute.
Yeah.
Love that.
I think flutes are great.
Flute gang, but I don't know. Whoever said regular ass glass, that it was catchy.
She's a trip. I've drank with her before in Richmond, Virginia. She's an absolute trip. I love her.
Great.
But we're flute gang in the Midwest.
I love it. Well, guys, it's almost 6 here on the East Coast. I'm happy to hang on a few more minutes. Don't feel like you need to stay, but thank you all for joining, and I wish you all happy and healthy drinking in the future. Cheers.
Great. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks,
Good
everyone.
job. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone.
Guys, this was
Cheers.
great.
This was awesome.
Cheers, cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Salud.
Alex, I'm staying in 20
Salute.
minutes.
I'm staying. Yeah. I'm going to be here for at least 10, probably.
Nice.
Yeah. I've got some friends coming over for my tasting.
I just got the email. I'm the worst. What's tonight's tasting?
Alto Piemonte.
Okay.
Alex, do you know that you use our like US East Coast Zoom chat? So like I saw like a week or two ago you had like a bachelorette wine tasting. I kind of just want to like hop on and like join this.
Yes, I did. I hosted a bachelorette wine tasting. They wanted to do this, and so I hosted it for them.
I was so tempted to just hop on and be like, "Hey, ladies."
Oh, you would have seen this guy in my robe. He's been there the whole time.
Oh, so cute.
Hey James, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Been a while, dude.
Hey, cheers, man. Thanks. This is really nice.
Cheers, my pleasure. Good to see you. How's the house?
Relaxing and with enough space to get away from this one. Hey, Flood.
That's awesome.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, man.
You forgot to tell the rest of the crew for those fighting over the white wine glass or the flute to just buy a universal one and call it a day.
Yeah, I should have said this is a universal glass.
A universal one.
Yeah. I didn't even know those existed.
So there are
you can pick it out of
wine
Causal.
glasses, and that's the only reason why they're different. I mean, they're all designed so that the aromas concentrate on the top, and they're a wide bowl generally. But different grapes will smell different in different glasses. So there's a Pinot Noir. There's like a here. Let me show you. This is called a Burgundy bowl. That's typically for Pinot Noir and like more floral and like light red fruit aromas. And then you've got the Bordeaux glass, Bordeaux stem. So that's for red wine, hearty red wines.
So I have a question. Like, my Lino in New York City is like a really good Italian restaurant, and they serve wine out of like really nice wine glasses. Like it was probably like $60 a glass. I like Googled it just for the, like, I don't get.
You get nervous holding that thing.
Yeah, it was so fragile. Does it actually impact the taste of the wine, or is it just like the quality of the glass?
The only reason it's so expensive is because they're definitely hand blown, and they're probably really thin.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason people like really thin wine glasses is the same reason why I have this foil pourer here. And that's just because the wine typically doesn't seep down the other side of the glass. It's literally just like an appearance thing, quite frankly. But yeah, these wine glasses, like $5 or $6 on Amazon, they're great. They're from Italy and they're super cheap. They're definitely not hand blown. They're